Hey yo, what's good? Welcome back to another video. Today will be my final video in my God of War series, but today's video will also be serving as like a little mini review. As you may have seen from the title, should you play God of War Ragnarok? Now, if you've been watching my God of War series, you know that I have already spoken about the early pros and cons of this game. So this video will be full of spoilers. So just a heads up to anyone who hasn't played the game or finished the game, I would advise to only watch this video afterwards, because I will be spoiling a lot of like the main plot lines and the major clips and like the wow moments that I had. And this video will mostly serve as an appreciation to what it was like to be able to experience God of War, and finally to be able to get to the end of the game, minus a few side quests that I haven't done from post game. And yeah, just like a couple of favors that I didn't complete during my playthrough.
Talking. Don't tell me that's Freya. Oh, for fuck's sake. Freya's still carrying beef, bruh.
Get ready.
Yo, Baldur's not coming back to life, Freya. Come on. Leave us alone. What you trying to prove? What? Oh, we just gonna keep running? Alright, let's go. Bet.
She wouldn't give up that easy, would she?
She never does. Stay alert.
Bruh, she's looking for smoke so early on. Come on. Take a chill pill, Freya. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get off me, Freya. Let's go.
Now, how do you follow up on one of the greatest video games of all time? Sony Santa Monica finds itself in a situation not dissimilar to when Francis Ford Coppola created the sequel to his mob movie masterpiece, The Godfather. Like part 2 of the Corleone story, God of War Ragnarok puts a fierce, younger member of the family directly under the microscope. In doing so, it manages to reach the heights of its predecessor, and in some ways, even tower above it. The writing, performances, and music are each exceptional, bringing this expansive Norse story to life. But even as it holds your heart in one hand, with its elegantly told story, its crunching bones in the other, with its fantastically ferocious combat, it all binds together to forge a monumental action epic that adds yet another impressive landmark to the video game landscape, and another masterpiece for Sony Santa Monica.
Can I come in?
What?
I have need. You will not find me good company. No.
He comes in
Sure, we'll
peace?
find lots to talk about.
I mean, we know who you are from the... Oh, so Kratos is gonna do, he's like 4 times my size. Jesus. The big boy. Put the axe on the table as well. Yeah, we talk like gentlemen. Odin, no?
You know who I am?
Yep, Odin.
Back before winter set in, there were some misunderstandings. Regrettable ones.
Yeah, we killed
I
your
think
kid.
we all have a better idea of who we're dealing with. Now, what you did to his boys. Self-defense. Dying is what we Aesir live for.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, they were kinda useless.
Now, Kratos' story picks up a few years after the final revelations of 2018 God of War, and I would say Ragnarok is not one of those sequels where everything will make sense without playing the first game, or at the very least watching the story recap, which they do include in the game. But I will also add a caveat that the story recap itself is a bit brief, and much like I said with my Horizon Forbidden West review, to thoroughly enjoy Forbidden West, you probably would have wanted to have played Zero Dawn, and I would say the same goes for Ragnarok. To thoroughly enjoy Ragnarok, you would have wanted to have played the 2018 reboot, or even doing one better, having played the existing games, which thankfully I got to play growing up. So I was already a fan of God of War, but I do know with the 2018 reboot, it garnered a lot of new fans who probably never had played the original Greek mythology God of War. Now, the apocalyptic Ragnarok is coming, and its events circle around Atreus, like one of Odin's ravens. Fimbulwinter, a time of unrest, has very much come, and during the intervening years, Atreus has been growing stronger, learning about his giant named Loki, and trying to convince his father to trust him. There are touching callbacks to the hunting scene from 2018 God of War, where Kratos proudly watches Atreus prove that he's no longer a child. But it's no slow introduction. Ragnarok wastes no time in stepping into the action. After a breakneck opening battle, the first step of this new journey is to leave the frozen realm of Midgard and find a missing Norse god in the broader and varied universe. And we lose Fenrir right at the beginning of the game after having to deal with Freya. Now, this is a sprawling epic that always keeps things on the move without ever becoming disorienting, gluing me to the edge of my seat as it repeatedly toyed with expectations. It's an ambition regularly met by stunning execution, with the momentum that never slips as you hurtle towards the bombastic ending. For me, this journey took me just over 58 hours with a few side quests completed, but like I mentioned, I wasn't able to do all of the post-game side missions. I did rush into Brok's funeral because I wanted to see what happened there, but I didn't do like all the pieces of Asgard and some of the other favors along the way.
Let's go. The 9 realms. Yeah, he's the only person we're missing. Well, technically Surtur as well, but Surtur said he'll come when he hears the horn.
Ready yourselves.
Let's go to Asgard.
I still am yet to finish those. So roughly I would say the game may take me 60 or so hours, I think, in total once I get to the end of it. But we'll see. When I actually platinum the game, I will have like a screenshot available. But as of now, I haven't platinumed the game yet. So all I've done is the main story and most of the side quests in a 58-hour window. Now, prophecy and sacrifice swirl at the story center as it repeatedly prods at the concept of destiny, whether blood runs thicker than the ink that pens it. It doesn't merely offer up surface level readings of these themes. Instead, each character and their motives are given the respect they deserve by delving very deep into these stories. It's a truly special and fitting grand conclusion of Kratos' Norse saga, as well as providing resolution to some of the more troubled Greek memories. There are twists and turns aplenty, with fake outs and misdirection woven into the story's fabric as it darts between loud spectacle, and tender conversation. Characters old and new play their own crucial parts, including fresh characters that we get to meet, Thor and Odin, with a line of dialogue rarely wasted between them. These are truly unique depictions, and it's credit to Sony Santa Monica and the actors playing their roles that I would think that personally they far outdid anything that we'd seen existing in terms of what we saw from maybe like Marvel and those kind of depictions that we'd had of Thor. I think Sony Santa Monica's Thor is, definitively the best Thor now. As well as the voice acting of people like Christopher Judge and Sonny Solich, who played Atreus and Kratos respectively. Despite being laden with myth and melodrama, there's still plenty of time for welcome pockets of self-aware silliness that almost always elicits a laugh. Mimir, for example, he's always just comedic relief, just there when you need him during those heavy moments. And whether that be another bizarre dwarven contraption or the simple thrill of Kratos just being laid back and finally showing that more, dad side of him. Hence why I titled my highlight series of that, The Dad of War. Now, pain leads to anger, anger leads to hate. This is the genesis of the stalking threat embodied by the incomparable force that is a grieving mother, portrayed incredibly with a newfound fury by Danielle Bisutti, I think I said that correctly, who plays Freya. And she's a striking presence to be reckoned with from the very beginning of the sequel, and casts a much darker shadow this time around. No longer just a helpful witch in the woods. She's given a whole new spectrum of emotional depth to play in, and Ragnarok is all the better for it. And again, for me, I kind of enjoyed that we got to work alongside Freya, and even though she gets used like a sidekick in terms of this instance, it was interesting, being able to have the different sidekick characters in the sense, whether it was Freya accompanying us, Atreus accompanying us, Sindri accompanying us, Brok accompanying us, Thor accompanying us, especially, and then we also had Thrud accompanying us. And I think I mentioned this during my playthrough. I think Thor is probably the best sidekick, purely because he's the best fighter from everyone that was there. But yeah, I enjoyed, having the different. Angrboda was another sidekick. I forgot about her. But yeah, I enjoyed the different variations and takes, and the different gameplay elements that they were able to, dance around and play with. Like each character is given their own moment to shine throughout. Sunny, for example, fires back regularly with sharp teenage tongue, if you'd call it, more confident. And Alistair Duncan's severed head of Mimir continues to provide, levity. Various newcomers to the vastly expanded cast also deliver fantastic performances.
I'm not finished with it yet.
What? Oh! It's her!
It's made from the bark of the ironwood trees. They absorb the memories of the forest so that the paint remembers too. Memories of the past.
Her name starts with A, but I forgot her. Ang something.
I'd hate to get blood on it.
So this is actually like real, yeah. It's not just in his head.
Oh, it's really you.
You know who I am?
Loki.
What's wrong?
I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Huh. You look weirder than I imagined.
As well as having the foul-mouthed Brok and skittish Sindri continue to bring their unique brand of dwarven charm to the story. It's a shame that, Brok's story came to an end. Also, we had the returning composer Bear McCreary, whose score, like the dwarven Smith brothers, goes hammer and tongues from the first moment to the last. There's some truly beautiful music to be heard along the journey, as well as explosions of raw orchestral power during intense fight scenes. I think the song is called Blood on the Snow or something like that. Yeah, whenever that's just booming in the background of all these heavy moments, especially during Brok's funeral as well. I love you, Brok.
I'm surprised Atreus didn't come though. I thought he'd... But I guess he won't know. Since he's off in another realm.
Whew. It was just, I don't know. Whew. The artistry bursting from every seam is astonishing, even when running in a high frame rate, favoring performance mode. With excellent costumes and world design on show, Ragnarok is incredibly well polished, with little details from the etchings on a dagger to the clunk of a cupboard door closing. All of it is done to perfect detail and shown love. It's expertly animated, with saliva sputtering grimaces launching towards the lens during the heat of battle and hair flowing realistically on Kratos' less follically challenged enemies. As we know, Kratos, bald life, bald gang. Now, layered writing, impeccable acting, and a stunning set design are all crucial aspects in driving God of War Ragnarok's film aspirations home. But they're also never let down by the rock-solid technical craftsmanship at work. The one camera shot that they established in 2018, it returns, snaking through the entirety of Ragnarok as if mimicking the world serpent Jormungandr himself. The technique may have lost a little of its initial magic and wow factor 4 years on, but it's still a remarkably impressive achievement that has several new tricks to show off, and only adds to Ragnarok's cinematic nature. Boss battles are both of higher quantity and quality, including one encounter that makes the opening stranger fight from 2018 look like a playground scuffle. There are definitely some of those huge boss fights that were so much more prevalent in the original trilogy this time around, with creatures regularly of a bigger scale than we saw 4 years ago. A lot of these one-on-one encounters are a true test of your capabilities as well. And that's something I was critical of them in 2018, is because they reused the trolls a lot. They didn't really, explore with different enemy types. They gave us the trolls and the Valkyries, and then every other enemy type was, sort of like there, but it wasn't really, like a big kind of enemy. Whereas this time around in Ragnarok, whether it's fighting the Drekkies or all sorts of different other enemies that I couldn't even remember most of their names, they all offer like a unique different challenge, and so they get reused in some occasions, but they get reused to like a very, I'd say, different or like a better purpose this time around, rather than just repeating the trolls over and over and over again, which again is positive, something they improved on immaculately.
This isn't real. Ironwood's not real. Ungar's not real. None of this is real. Ah!
What?
Hey! Whoa, you're okay. You're okay. It's all alright. It'll be okay. Look at me. Hey, calm down. Calm down. It's fine.
The puzzles also offer much more of what you'd expect, lodging the axe into objects to keep them from moving, or freezing them to redirect water flows, burning vines. Smart new puzzle ideas are consistently introduced through, and they build in complexity throughout the game. As you get more and more abilities added to your arsenal, there's like areas that you won't be able to access until you get something later on, so then you can come back to those areas afterwards. I think an example is Svartalheim. Before you get the Draupnir spear, some of the puzzles you see in Svartalheim, you aren't able to access them, but once you've done the whole chapter, gotten past, I've probably traveled other realms as well, and then gotten past the point where you get the Draupnir spear, then you could go back adventuring in Svartalheim, doing all the puzzles and going to all the places that you weren't able to go to, as well as Vanaheim as well, in terms of where you could place the spear and that kind of thing. And speaking of realms, the realms old and new are regularly a sight to behold, many looking torn from the pages of fairy tales, stocked with oversized flora and fauna. There's an extra effort to delve deeper into the mythology this time around. And as someone who's a fan of the Nordic source material, it's a pleasure to see all of the different interpretations of creatures, people, places, in a manner that's, sometimes weird, or sometimes, comes off really super well. I think I even mentioned it in my playthroughs as well. My favorite realm was discovering the crater area in Vanaheim. That area was just like, it kind of blew my mind, because it came in a moment that, when the game was reaching to its end, but then they give you this whole new section, or just places where you could just have fun and chill out and like calm things down before getting back to the main story, which was super dope. And so I think I did the crater in its entirety before I left. I did the crater in its entirety before I left. I think the only favors I didn't do were like a stag for all seasons and some of the like side fights and stuff like that. But especially the dwarven city of Nidavellir, that was also a welcome change of scenery. The homes, the tunnels, Kratos has to like crawl around in some of the areas. It was pretty like rocky, seeing Svartalheim and all the waterways weave through everything. That was super dope. Being able to like go through the boats, the geysers, and many of the puzzles in that region as well. But all in all, I would like to say I don't think Ragnarok never once rests on its laurels, throwing new ways to play at you until the very end, despite having a seemingly endless amount of praise here, because I haven't really mentioned anything bad about the game, because I really don't think there was anything I could point out that was particularly bad. And I think, personally, I've barely scratched the surface of what God of War Ragnarok has to offer, and a lot more people will be able to give you, better reviews, better explanations, better experiences. But I figured, having been a major fan of God of War and having done my God of War series, I would do this video to be able to speak about one of the games that I hold dear to my heart. And like I've mentioned before, God of War is number one for me. Although I'm probably more emotionally attached to The Last of Us, I still think God of War is, one of the greatest stories ever told, outside of, Red Dead Redemption 2, Ghost of Tsushima, that kind of thing. But all in all, it's a complete work of art from top to bottom, reflecting its core themes. It's everything a sequel should be, respectful of its legendary lineage, but not afraid to take it to new exciting places. Again, compliments to the new year. Hope everyone's having a good start to the 2023. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed, stay dangerous, and peace out.